Imagine spending millions to buy land, only to wake up one morning and find bulldozers demolishing your property. No compensation, no refund, just loss. This is what happens when you unknowingly purchase land that is under government acquisition. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to check if the land is under government acquisition, and also to avoid falling into such trap. And one other thing, also if you have already purchased such property, what next to do. I am Adeboye Olajide, your property lawyer. This is your daily dose of real estate legal wisdom. Under the Land Use Act of 1978, all lands belongs to the state government. And in a situation where you purchase a property, what you'll be getting is a right of occupancy. That is, you have the right to do whatever you want to do with the land, as long as it corresponds with the land zoning and other regulations on that property. So in a situation where you purchase a land that is under government acquisition, this simply means such right of occupancy does not exist. So I'm going to be talking to you about types of acquisition. The first one is the committed acquisition, the second one is the global acquisition, and the third one is the excision. So for the committed acquisition, that means the government has a particular project for this part of the property or the land. Like the earmarked part of that portion of land, the government has already they already planned a project. There's a project. It could be an hospital, it could be a canal, it could be anything, but just know that it must be for public use, and government has a plan. The plan has already been mapped out. As I said earlier, I said it could be for an hospital or a school. So the moment you purchase such property, just know that the property is gone. Even though the government may not come now, but later in the future, they will come and demolish your property. A case scenario is what happened in Ikota. I'm still coming to that. What happened in Ikota, where buildings were demolished. So it is because when you build on a committed land, the government will come and demolish your property without compensation. You won't be compensated for it. The property is gone. While on the global acquisition, that is when government has already earmarked a portion of land and they have a plan, but they don't know the project they are going to build on it. They have a future plan for that property or for that area, for that land. Do you understand? So a lot of people have actually purchased such properties, and the only good thing, or should I say it is just a 50-50 thing, that later in future the government can decide to regularize it. I will give you an instance. There are lands in areas like Ketu, Alapere, very close to Ikota. Large portion of that area have a global acquisition. And what the government did was that they discovered that a lot of people have already purchased that property, and it will not make sense to now come and say they want to take over the property back without compensating people. So just not to put people into that unnecessary regret or sorrow, they decided to regularize. So yeah, but most often regularization is very, very expensive. It's like obtaining a CO4 2 times, you pay for it twice. So the cost is usually much more expensive than normal title. While the excision is where government initially, as I said earlier, I said the government owns land, the state government owns all land. So in a situation where the government has already earmarked some portion of land, saying we are going to use this for our use, and later they decided to return parts of the property to the community or to an individual or a company, saying we are no longer in need of this property, so they return it back to the community. So that is the excised land. And most often the excised land are usually one of the best land, because the government has already informed, and most of the time they even gazette it, they publish it in their official record saying this property, we are no longer in use of it. we have returned it back to the family, we have returned it back to the community, make use of it as it deemed fits. So how do you check if the land is under government acquisition? So I'm going to be telling you step by step of what to do. So the first thing for you to do is to conduct a land information search. Land information search. So you can do this either at the Surveyor General's office or you visit the Ministry of Lands. So in the Ministry of Lands or Surveyor General's office, you request for land information status or land information certificate or a status letter. So this is going to be showing you if this land is a committed land or if this land has been thrown out to the general public for individual use or for commercial use. The second thing you do is also to get a very good surveyor to pick coordinates on that property. Pick your coordinates on the property, chart your property, and send to the Surveyor General's office to chart the property. So when they chart the property, or when they chart the land, it is going to indicate whether the particular land is sited in a residential area or that particular land is on a committed land or under government acquisition. It is going to explicitly state out the information on that property. So you really need to do that. And mind you, most of the time, as I've said earlier in my previous video, that some people make grievous mistake by charting the survey that they were given. Do not chart the survey that you were given. Go to the land, the physical land, and you go there to pick your coordinates. Pick your coordinates on the land, then you chart it. When you chart it, you send the information to the Surveyor General's office, and the status of the land will be revealed. So one other thing you also need to do is also to use the state GIS platform if available. For instance, in Lagos State has the Lagos State GIS, that's the LAGIS. So, and also Abuja has the AGIS. So what does this thing do? What it finds out is that if this particular property you want to purchase falls under the government's layout, so you know there's always a layout. Okay, this is the size, the portion of the land that government has already partitioned for a particular project. So you are going to check whether your property falls within that layout. So you need to go and check whether your particular land or property falls within that layout, that government layout, and this will now show you whether or not to go ahead to purchase this property. So let me give you a real life example, like what happened in Ikota, for instance. You know, we all heard the story. I think it happened last year or last 2 years, where a lot of properties were demolished, and then people came and started crying. They cried out. They were lamenting that they were being witch hunted and one thing or the other. But actually, what happened was that they built on a committed land. The land has been committed for drainage, but probably they did not do that due diligence, or the developer that sold the property. In fact, let me tell you, most of the time, the developer may be aware. Probably he has already paid for the property, and then he knew that this property later in future are going to be demolished. So let me quickly sell this property. But you as an individual, for the fact that you are purchasing a property from a real estate developer doesn't mean the properties are usually good to go to buy. It is best for you to do your due diligence before you proceed to purchase a property. I am pretty sure that those people back then did not do that due diligence. Assuming they have done it, they've done search on that property, they would have, in fact, they wouldn't be faced with these challenges. They would have evaded this heartache. So it was because they did not do what they were supposed to do. And sometimes too, people believe that, okay, government will not come again. Like it's Nigeria, they will tell you it is Nigeria, the government are not serious. If government tells you that they want to do this, in the next 100 years, they might not do it. So let me just buy this property. And besides, the developer may be offering them a very little price for the property, a too good to be true price, and they also grab it. They will rush to grab it. They will rush to grab the price. So most of the time, too, it is still our fault that we purchase properties that are bad just because we did not do our due diligence. You need to get your lawyer from the beginning of your transaction to run through to the end. Just because a lawyer is asking you to bring a particular amount of money, you are saying no, you will not engage the service of a lawyer. You will do it yourself. And at the end of the day, because of a mega amount of 200,000, 300,000, you are losing billions and millions of money. These problems are actually avoidable. Buying properties in Lagos, in Nigeria, is actually a very, very sweet investment. I can still put it to you that there is no investment that is as sweet, that is as yielding as real estate in Nigeria, in Lagos.